Hey everyone, we are here for another online DIY class. We just wanted to thank you for tuning in for another awesome class. Today we are going to be working with Krystal from DoableYou. She's going to be teaching us how to make some awesome giant paper flowers. So we're super excited about that.
And in case you don't know anything about DoableYou, Krystal has been working forever doing DIY. If she wanted to make her own prom dress or she made all of her own wedding decor, she loves DIY, so she decided to open this business. And she helps people either find the DIY things that they would like to create or life hacks. Or she will create things for you, depending on, if you don't have the time, she'll do it all for you. So I'm really excited to see how these paper flowers are made.
Yes, they're going to be giant and amazing. For anyone who's tuning in, if you have any questions throughout the workshop, you can head on to your chat icon. It's on the upper left-hand side, and just make sure that's enabled, and we'll be able to answer you throughout the workshop. Anything else, Sarah? Are we ready for Krystal to take it away?
No, I think, Krystal, take it away.
Yay! My turn. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's class. Just as much as they're excited, I am extremely excited as well. Today, we'll be learning how to make these giant, gorgeous paper flowers. Paper flowers are all the craze. They're done everywhere. You can see them on Pinterest for paper flower backdrops, paper flower bouquets, centerpieces. You can purchase them on Etsy. And I was browsing through Pinterest like, how can I make something that's a little different? It's not your normal cardstock paper flower. And I stumbled upon these Pinterest giant paper flowers made from tissue paper and said, I think I can make that. And fast forward, here we are today. So I will start with going over the materials that you'll need to do this so that you will be over prepared for the class tomorrow. The first thing you'll need is some cement, and you don't need a giant bag. You can go to any local hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, and get one of these tubs. They're sold in large bags, and then they have these mini tubs, and it's called concrete patcher. So I'll zoom in a little bit. It's Top Bond Concrete Patcher. Although I told the Lowe's man that I wanted quick drying cement, he gave me this bad boy. This cures in 24 hours, but I promise there is a quick drying cement that cures in 4 hours. So if this is all you can find, make sure you mix your concrete today. But if not, there's quick drying cement as well. And this makes I made 4, and I haven't even used half of the tub of cement, so it's plenty. You'll also need a scoop, so you can use a measuring cup if you want. I just borrowed a cup from my protein shake that I was throwing away. And you can just use a scoop to scoop out the cement and get it. I can't get it open. To scoop out the cement so that you can mix everything together. And here's my scoop, if you can see it. And the next thing that you will need from your hardware store while you're there is this roll of hex netting. It's 1-inch 20-gauge wire. I'll zoom in again so you can see what it looks like. This will help you make your base. It's not the friendliest of materials, so be careful. But I used the 1-inch 20-gauge wire because it provided enough strength for me, and it also was a lot flexible because of the gauge of the wire, so that I could bend it, connect the base, and you can also bend your stem a little bit to give it whatever kind of design you want. Again, this bad boy is not friendly. It's been rolled up for however many months or years, I don't know. So when you unroll it, it wants to roll back up. Be careful. I would grab a pillow, a chair, a friend to help you hold the hex netting down. A pillow works just fine for me, and you'll just plop it down on the end of the netting so that it doesn't roll up while you're cutting it. In lieu of that, like I said, this netting is tough to work with. You'll need work gloves. And also if you have any like cleaning gloves or a hoodie, a long sleeve shirt to protect your forearms and the gloves to protect your hands, trust me, you'll need it. The netting is prickly and we'll be maneuvering it a little bit, so protect yourself. You don't want to get cut up while making these flowers. You'll also need pliers. So pliers will help you to bend your base around and connect it together so that it makes one tube. It's kind of a flat sheet at the start. So you'll use your pliers to connect the base together. And if you're familiar with tools, the pliers have like an automatic wire cutting tool in them, but you don't want to use that, trust me. In order to cut pliers, it takes a little bit of bending back and forth and pulling to cut your wire, and you'll be doing 3 feet to 6 feet of wire cutting. So it's much easier with wire clippers. Go ahead and invest in those. They're not that expensive. Pliers to bend and wire clippers to save you time, headache, and arm pain with the flick of the wrist. Okay. In addition to that, since I have it in my hand, you'll need a floral wire. It's a 20 gauge floral wire or 22 gauge. And this will help to make sure your flowers have more structure and they can be attached, retouched, detached from your base. So it'll give you a lot more versatility with your flowers. The first flowers I made, which were pictured in the advertisement, were these bad boys. And if you see, they're very whimsical, they're nice, they're gorgeous, but after about 15 minutes in the humidity, they were wilted, it was flying, they needed water. They just weren't as amazing as the ones that are back here. So I'll show you tomorrow how to use floral wire to give your stems a little bit more stability. Tissue paper, like I said, it's not cardstock, so it's not as sturdy. And in the humidity or heat, your petals will drop unless you use more tissue paper and you use floral wire to give it a little bit more structure. We'll also be using floral wire to make our leaves for the flowers as well. And you will need a pencil. I chose, now the first time I made them I used a pen, and Dobie learned how to cut things out in kindergarten or first grade. Sometimes you get a little impatient with the tissue paper and your imperfections are hidden much better with a pencil than with a pen. So trust me, just use a pencil to trace out your flower petals. While you are mixing your cement, I grabbed a chopstick that was left over in my junk drawer. If you have any cutlery or leftover utensils from takeout or plastic, you can use that to stir your cement. And what you'll be putting your cement in is 2 plastic drinking cups. So the size of them varies on the height of the flower you'll be making. I use these small cups, drinking cups, you know, for barbecues or birthday parties. If you want to make anything that's larger than 3 feet, I would get the larger ones, the regular size drinking cups. And I'm using 2 so that we can detach the base. So people were complaining about how heavy the paper flowers were, and you know, there's a base on the bottom of it, which is in essence a paperweight, so that when you're putting the flowers down, they won't tip over or bend. Well, if it's attached to it, every time you move your paper flowers, you have to lug this giant block of cement around. So tomorrow I'll be teaching you how to create one that's detachable, so that when you're done, you can take off your flower, you can take off your base, put them in the box, and then just easily maneuver the bases around or bend them in your car, etc., because the netting is bendable. So you need 2 plastic cups. In addition to that, once you make your base, the pattern of the hex netting is like hexagons, and I guess that could be funky for your base, but the masking tape will help to do 2 things. So first, it'll help to smooth out the pattern so that it's not as obvious on your base and give you a smoother stem. In addition to that, while the netting is sturdy, the tape wrapping it around the base will provide it with a little bit more strength so that it doesn't bend as much in the wind or bend period from the weight of the flower. So masking tape will help you with structure and it'll help smooth out your base. Then you will need scissors. So you'll need scissors to cut out, of course, your paper flower templates. And while we're talking about the paper flower templates, I'll show you mine. You can download them anywhere. There's free options on Google. You can purchase them from Etsy stores. But when you purchase your flower template, it depends on the size that you like. They typically come in this type of pattern. If you can see it, it has a flat bottom there. You want to make sure you modify whichever flower you use to include this short stem down here. So if I line this up, it's not the same template, but it's an example. If I line this up, you'll see the difference. You want to make sure you extend this down. It's about 1 inch long and 1 inch wide. So just curve your flower template down so that you have this little protrusion here. It'll help to give a lot more structure to your petals. Again, we have these flimsy options here, which are nice and pretty, but you see they don't have that much structure. Adding the stem will make sure your petals stick out a lot more instead of flapping around or flapping down to cover the design of your center. And for the template, I had 1 large petal, 1 medium petal, a small petal, and then a circle here. And the diameter of the circle is 2 inches, and the radius, of course, is 1. So that's the paper flower template that I used. And you also need tissue paper. So you can get tissue paper from anywhere, from the dollar store for $1, or you can go to Target. Target has all of these funky colors. I have metallic gold here. They also have stuff with funky polka dots. Or you can go to the dollar store and get whatever color you like. But you need 1 color for your flower petals. You need 1 color for this decorative center. And then you also need dry moss for your center as well to add a little bit more of a realistic flair. So again, 1 color for the outside, 1 color for the center, and then dry moss for your decorative flair in the centerpiece. And the last color you need is green. You can make your stem any color you like. Green is a little bit more realistic, but you need green tissue paper as well to put on the stem and to make your leaf. When you're making your stem, after you put the masking tape on, you're going to cut your green tissue paper into strips, and placing them or gluing them on the stem can take quite a long time depending on the method in which you use to attach it. I use good old Elmer's glue because it's liquid, so you can use any type of glue you like. Glue gun, glue tape, glue dots, but Elmer's glue was more effective for me because you can squeeze it out, and then with your finger or with a paintbrush you can spray it or spread it on, and then use an entire strip of tissue paper to just put on the base instead of cutting small pieces, gluing, and pressing. You can make a long strip of glue, spread it out, and use a 1 inch thick strip of tissue paper to just coat the base. It'll save a lot of time, and I'll demonstrate that more tomorrow. You also need Scotch tape for your tissue paper flower. So when we're assembling it, we'll be taping each layer together and taping each layer to the floral wire to create the flower. Scotch tape, wrapping tape, any type of tape is fine. You could reuse the masking tape if you like, but it'll just take a little bit longer because you'll need to cut it into small strips. And the last material you'll need are these fun styrofoam balls. So you can get them from Michael's or from Joann Fabric, any craft store. They come, I think, in about a package of 9. I wouldn't get anything that's larger than this because we're sticking it into the base, the top of the base, and the width of that is pretty small once we attach it or connect the pieces together. So getting these styrofoam balls, it'll allow you to just stick your flower in, pull it out. Some DIY tutorials call for zip ties, but aesthetically I just didn't like that because you can see them on the outside of the base and the flower. So using a styrofoam ball, we can stick it in the base. It'll stick very easily on the netting, and then cover it with the green tissue paper to camouflage it, and you'll be able to stick any type of flower you like in your base. The base is the most difficult thing to make and takes the longest time, so it'll be really cool to be able to reuse your bases and not have to make them over and over again for every flower, every design that you have. And that's pretty much it for the materials. Again, don't cut corners on wire cutters. Make sure you get them. It'll save you time. Make sure you prepare yourself and protect yourself with gloves and something on your forearms as well. And I'll just show you an example of a flower up close. So here is one of the giant flowers, and again, you can easily take off the flower. Took that off there. And then here's the base. I don't have the concrete base on right now, so that I can easily just move it, pick it up, and that's it. That's the flower. And I'm so excited again that you joined us today. I hope you're prepared. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A and I will answer them if you have any questions about supplies. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Krystal. So tomorrow we are going to have the full class, and Krystal will go through steps 1 all the way to the end, showing you how to transport the flowers and everything. So we are going to go through all the details. We will be posting throughout today and tomorrow a list, again, of supplies. This is also on our Facebook group as well as all social media channels. You can RSVP through any of the links through posting if you follow us on any of those outlets, as well as signing in on webinars on air. The class is $30 and you have the class indefinitely. So you can watch it over and over again for any types of flowers that you want to make for any of your weddings or events.
I can't wait. I'm super excited to make these myself.
It is going to be super fun. All right. Is there anything else, Sarah, that you wanted to touch on before we wrap it up today?
No, I think we're all set. Thanks for joining us for another District Bliss online DIY workshop.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.